So, of course, we're talking about today's topic is really, really awesome. And, someone actually said that a fashionable woman wears clothes. It's not the clothes that wear her. But then again, when it comes to going to church, most of us tend to be so confused because we are like, okay, fine. So what are we supposed to wear in church? Is it okay for us to wear shorts to church? Is it okay for us to wear trousers, especially for the ladies? Or is it okay for us to wear short dresses or short skirts? I mean, what is it, that is meant to be appropriate when it comes to dressing for church? So
those who have fathers at home, is that the way you dress in front of your father? Because there are things people wear out there, but when you go to confront your father, you change. Why do you change to a different outfit? Another thing is, if today, say you are inside your house, say for some reasons you are maybe from the bathroom, you're naked, and then you had a knock at the door, Jesus is calling. Yeah. You are going to open the door for Jesus. What would you wear? Okay. Remember, you're going to church. Right. You look for something very decent. I know no one is going to open for Jesus with a miniskirt or some dropping pants. So can you please wear that thing that you'd wear if Jesus was to come? Because you're going to church to meet Jesus. So how do you meet him?
When you say Jesus, someone might argue and say Jesus is a spirit being, so it's okay. He will not concentrate. Anyways, we're always told to wear, something that we are comfortable. So suppose someone, out there is like, but I feel comfortable when I wear, my mini skirt. And it's not like I want to distract someone or I want to get attention from someone. It's just that I feel comfortable, wearing my mini skirt. And going to church, is there a problem? Because I am comfortable. Really, it's not like I'm wearing a micro mini somewhere here, just here.
Okay, one, even the Bible says God does not look at the outside.
Yes, thank you very much. So when you say goodness.
Yes, but I want to explain.
Okay.
But you as a church goer, you know what you're comfortable in. Okay. There are people in church who've gone there not to look at you, but to listen to the word of God. Okay. It's not about you. Don't be selfish. Think about those people there. Think about the pastor. You've seen these pictures here. Those, like he said, he cannot concentrate. He's a man. Okay. You go there, you are seated, you are half naked. Even the women there cannot concentrate. The children there are like, oh, it's free pornography. No, not in church. You have like 6 days of the week to dress your own way. The way you want. So why take that dressing to church?
I want to discuss about something that is very critical, if you ask me, because most people think that men and women can be friends, like really close friends. And that is the subject of our discussion today, that is platonic relationships. And the question that we ask here is, do they work? Do you think a man and a woman can be friends without any sexual relations, without any romantic feelings involved? So feel free to join in the discussion. The guys can be friends, but then again, there was no chance where a man and a woman can be friends and pure friendship, with no strings attached. So do you think that is actually the reason why, most people get themselves into this, the platonic relationship that, like he said, messes up the top one, that is either the husband or the wife?
One thing I have to say is this, we must have friends. Every person depends on relatives and friends for one way or another. So they are there to stay. Yeah. But when you talk about platonic, we are talking of that special friend that you want to assume is just a friend, and the friendship ends there. There is nothing sexual about it. Okay. Is it real? For how long are you friends before the friendship turns into something else? That's the question we have today. Okay. For how long are you going to be friends? For how long are you going to meet this friend, share, have these coffees? He takes a lot of your time. Why is he taking a lot of your time? Why is she taking a lot of your time? Where is your spouse when you're having this friend? Why are you sharing so much with this person and not your spouse? Why is this person so important into your life? Yeah. Because you have so many friends, but now you have one a particular friend who's
That is so special.
closer, who is more special than the others. That's where the problem comes in.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
When you have a platonic friend and you want to share your feelings with him or her, you see, now there's somebody you are neglecting. You're supposed to share your feelings with your boyfriend or with your spouse if you're married. You're supposed to share them. I mean, not take them to somebody else. The moment you start talking to other people, you start getting so close. You know, like in older times, people used to have arranged marriages, whereby you just brought a girl you've never met, and then the relationship builds. And that's how it builds in platonic relationships.
Very true.
It builds very slowly. You start today, you meet him. Tomorrow you go for coffee. The other day, now you start spending a lot of time together. In the morning, when you're dressing, you start dressing for this particular platonic relationship. Remember, maybe a woman goes home at night. She's tired. She's with those clothes that she spent with the whole day. But in the morning, she dresses for another person. So should you be dressing for the other person or for your spouse? Should you be sharing with the other person or with your spouse? So communication should be built between couples rather than the other friends.
Okay.
If you want to build a relationship, you start by communicating, the two of you. If you're having an issue with so-and-so and you're taking to somebody else, there is a problem there.
Okay.
You must always define. You must say, this is Winnie, this is Wilkister, this is who. But who are they, and up to what level of intimacy do I have with them?
Okay.
He spoke about dropping your friends. You know, friends who come in, you know, when you are single, there are a lot of things that you do. It's just like getting saved, eh?
Yeah.
Habits that you drop after you. As a Christian, you get saved and drop some things that are not. You just leave. Now, there are things that you used to do. So many other things that you used to do before you got married, before you go this spouse, the number one spouse that you chose. So if he's not happy with the things that you used to do, you have to drop them, like you said. You have to drop your friends. You have to drop, others are relatives, but also friends.
But this is not just a friend, eh?
Yeah.
This is a platonic friend. You know, this person that you feel much closer to. This person that you can, you know, talk about anything. It's not just a friend.
Yes, but the jealousy part of it. You know,
it's okay.
And you know, most people will say, you know, okay, as much as it's a platonic relationship, I feel so much connection with this other person, and I cannot just drop this person.
You can't just
like
drop
that.
them.
I asked, for how long is it going to be platonic? And then someone told me another time that if you are a man who's having a woman friend, if you are that woman, you should know that you are like a chicken. Sorry.
Okay.
Chicken means it's like a man having a chicken for a pet. At one point, he'll get hungry and eat you up, you know.
Yeah.
So being in that relationship is like a person who has chicken for a pet. For how long are you going to keep this pet?
Okay, but we talked about boundaries, you know, where you have to set boundaries and say, you know what, hey, I'm married, you are married probably, probably this other person is not married and I am married. Of course, there's a boundary where we said you're not supposed to cross this line. This is pure friendship, nothing more. And yeah, there are boundaries. So when you say that, for how long are you guys going to stay platonic?
Yes, that's what you want to do. That's what she wants to do.
Okay.
But then, does it work that way? Because just look around. Most friends will come for counseling and tell you, you know, I am married. I had this friend who was so close to me in the office, and then I don't know what happened. That statement.
Yes.
No, something just happened, and then I found myself. I got involved, and here I am. I don't know how to drop him because you've spent so much time together. You've known each other, you've learned each other, you've learned to love. It graduated from liking to love.
Okay.
Now you're so confused. You ask the person, it's during therapy. Now, which one do you love more? your husband or this other
person.
man. I don't know. I think I love them equally. Why? Because you're spending all the nights with your husband.
He's a very confused human being.
Exactly. Very confused.
Who needs very serious help. But let me just probably add a footnote to what you said. You brought a very good point called love. Again, we have to define this. You know, when things are defined, listen, you can't just be in a playfield, say football, and you're saying, we are here to kick the ball. Where are we scoring? Yeah. We can give the ball to the supporters. No, there has to be a goal. You understand? Reduce communication. Secondly, reduce the areas you meet for coffee. Stop them. That means whatever you feed grows, but whatever you starve dies. Simple. Starve it. Take it to a fast. Hunger strike.
But you know,
I know it's a very tormenting phrase.
Brian, you're talking about emotional. That is where cheating starts.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah,
very
it starts
true.
from there. Because the moment you start connecting emotionally with someone who's not your spouse, you are done.
Because, you know, most people will say and argue that, you know, physical is the worst bit, and they usually forget the emotional is now the serious bit of it.
I like that you're arguing.
Very
you're
good.
a man. Men are more physical.
Yes.
And the ladies
While
are more
as
emotional.
you're more emotional.
Yes.
Yeah.
If like today, if he is doing something funny with another woman, you know, the wife will be thinking, what does he feel
About her.
about her?
True.
When he sleeps at night, he's just thinking about his own stuff. The wife is like, okay, he must be thinking about the other woman. It's all about emotions.
True.
What does he
The
feel?
investment,
What does
yes.
my husband feel about another person? Physically, if, say, a man does something physically, and I know it's not emotional, it's not as bad. But now, for a man, it's about the physical. What, it doesn't matter what this woman feels about the other man. What have they done, as in physically? Are they sexually involved or what? It's about the physical. Are they touching? What are they doing? The act. While I'm thinking about the emotional bit, the man is thinking about the physical. Is my wife cheating, as in cheating physically? But for a woman, is my husband cheating emotionally? Is he thinking about this other woman? What is he thinking? Does he love me? Love in this case is the emotional love.
Yes.
That's why the Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence. Because from out of it comes the issues of life. Okay? And why do you always have to go talk to another person? If you're very strong communication fiber with your spouse, you know, you don't necessarily have to talk to
someone.
You can always just tell them, look, we need to communicate. It's best if we communicate over this issue.
All right.
And also, you have to be very careful and very straightforward. If at all you're going to share that very private information with someone, with a friend, will you be okay if your spouse knew that you're sharing such information with that person? If you are ready to tell your spouse that you are sharing that information with someone else, then it's fine. If you're doing anything with this person that you cannot want your spouse to know, then there's a question mark. Do something that you do if he or she is there.
And like you said, you need to make sacrifices. You need to learn how to make sacrifices and all that. And probably they're like, okay, fine, so how do I drop this person? You know, tell them, you know what, it's nothing personal. It's just that I am with this other person, and you know, we have to build our marriage or we have to build our relationship. So how do you make sure that you know, fine, you destroy the relationship, the platonic relationship, without necessarily hurting this other person?
In this relationship, normally it's one person who starts developing these feelings. Who is it in this instance? Because it could be you or the other person. Because if it is you, you have to work on the feelings that you have for this person. If it is the other person, now that is a bit tricky, because it means first you distancing yourself from this person. Like I used to meet once in a week. Okay, it doesn't happen like once in a week. It's like daily. You're so attached now. Thrice, you want to meet. Now you start cutting that and create a very big distance, a gap. You can even look for excuses or activities to do in between. Because the moment you create that distance and start having other activities, you are trying to clean yourself and distance yourself from this relationship. Okay. And distance somehow kills emotions in a way or another. Another way is talking to this other person and explaining. Like you said, say you are married and the other person knows. I find it very much working when you talk to the other person and explain to them what this relationship is doing to their marriage. Yes. You know, if like you tell them that this relationship, eventually my spouse is going to learn about it. I think I lose my marriage. I think my children are suffering as I'm busy, sharing time with you. I think my spouse needs this time that we, you know, these are things that someone does not want to hear from you. So by just explaining to this person and trying, after explaining, run as fast as you can. Flee, exactly. And I'm a counseling psychologist, and today we are talking about the qualities of a good wife. Welcome.
And starting with you, Wilkister, please, can you just definition of a good wife?
Okay, a wife has very many definitions, and a good wife depends on what a man is looking for. What is good for him is not good for the other man. Yes. So it all depends on what a man wants. But we have some standard qualities that a wife, every wife must possess. We'll talk about them as we go on. But the first and most important is respect. Every good wife should respect their men. They should respect their husbands maximum. You know, respect means that allowing them to be the heads of the family. They are the ones that speak and you listen as a wife. So you respect them. You respect their views. However wrong the views are, let them contribute, and then you bring in your own issues and you can negotiate. They come first.
And talking about respect, because people believe that respect is a two-way traffic. So if you're a man and you're a woman, it has to be a 50-50 basis, or should it be an 80-20 basis or 50-50 basis?
I think it's so clear. Respect is earned.
Yeah.
If you give respect, you get it back. Yeah, it's earned.
I always tell people that marriage starts before you marry. So what was your agreement before then? Because during courtship, this is when you build the marriage. You talk about these issues. You talk about how you're going to deal with your problems, about forgiveness, about spending, finances, about submissiveness. All these things, you talk about them during courtship. So what did you agree when you are courting about this? Because I always say that when I talk to these men who batter their wives, I tell them, will you be happy if you did something? Because they'll tell you that I hit her because she did something wrong to me. Then I ask them, would you be comfortable if anytime you do wrong things, she hits you? Because you're so wrong. You're so wrong. So it's a two-way thing. The agreement before they start the marriage, when they go into the marriage, how do they build their marriage? Because for someone not to accept forgiveness, or for someone not to be remorseful, it's something that is built. It is something that is built. You've learned to despise someone. Because I believe as a couple, when someone is wrong, it is okay to say sorry. I'm very sorry, I've done this to you. And then you respond. There is communication between you two. When this person is not responding, what does that communicate? I mean, how does you despise the other one to the extent that you cannot even say sorry, or you cannot accept the sorry from the other person? So it is something that builds up the way you relate to each other. And if you're so comfortable with that, then someone will be doing things and not be remorseful. Someone will be doing things and not say sorry. So how do you even forgive this person?
To make that marriage work, you should also help me, teach me. If I'm willing, I'll learn. Is it that wrong? Is it wrong to do that?
Let me tell you. You can be weak in many areas, But in your marriage, you cannot be weak when it comes to food and sex.
Yeah.
Somebody else will help you do that.
Sure.
What do I mean?
Yes.
You just cannot like, okay, you have a husband here. We have many men here who are married. Your husband has come from home in the morning. You've given him pancakes. You've given him bread. You've given him like food until he's left some of it on the table. He comes here to work. If someone else gives that man food, will he eat?
Of course he won't.
He won't. So, are you getting my point? That's on the sexual side. Let him be satisfied, his stomach and sexually. Do not delegate those things. She talked about the working woman. She goes out to work every day. So she does not have much time. But the moment she comes home, it's important you change into your best, go in the kitchen and try to make at least something, a snack for him. The house girl has prepared food, yes, because you didn't have time. But anytime you come home, let him test something that you've prepared.
Sure.
Check a certain small recipe. Maybe before you leave, maybe you don't leave very early, you can do a small snack. He'll know that by the time he's leaving, this one was prepared by my wife, and he'll appreciate that. When it comes to food, if you're not a good cook, learn. During weekends, holidays, when you're with him, put the house girl aside, cook for him. His food, I mean, your food is very important to him. And he loves your food, he loves you wholly. So those two aspects, check them. They are very important.
So we need to know what, like husbands, what you're not doing right. To make this woman nag you, what is it that they're nagging me about? And this proverb, they say, don't look where you fell, look where you slipped. And let them check on what they're doing wrong.
Well, on that, it's also good to create the best time, the most conducive time for talking about issues. You don't start like, say you are having an issue right now, he comes home quarreling, and then you also start shouting. You know, two people shouting cannot resolve anything. The best thing is you wait until he calms down. You wait until he's in a mood that he's happy, he's trying to also bring you closer to him. That is the best time for you to start a conversation which is sensitive.
Wisdom.
That is wisdom, yes.
Yeah.
You also don't just do it before meals. You know,
Seriously.
you just placed a very nice meal on top of him and then you said, Baba nani unajua ulifanya, you know. He starts feeling like, okay, this woman didn't want me to eat this meal. So before meals, don't start such things. Just wait for the times when you are seated, you are comfortable. You can, I mean, you just look at he's your man. Look at his mood, he's at his best. And there's a very important point when it comes to when you want to pass a message or you have a very important discussion to do. Number one, do not prepare a man like you tell him, Baba nani tunataka tuongee leo. You know, I want us to have a conversation today. Men are so scared of that. They'll be like, okay, now what does she want us to talk about? He starts getting scared and feeling like no. He starts looking at all the mistakes he did because you know women can pile, pile mistakes, and they even know the dates, time and month. They'll tell you, you remember that day, January 2012, what
when
you
it
did.
was raining.
When it was raining. Do not start by telling him, you know, like we need to have a talk. I don't know why men scare that statement. We need to have a talk. It really makes him feel like he's being put down.
Yeah, he gets intimidated.
To be intimidated and all that.
Okay.
So you should just wait for him to bring that very happy atmosphere when he's ready to sit down and he feels like, my wife, we need to talk. Then you start bringing out those issues. Yes.
Is it okay for you to discuss during bedtime in your bedroom?
You might end up spoiling a lot of things.
But that could be the only chance you're like the two of you at times. And the whatever issue you want to talk about is pressing. When it's pressing, you can raise it there without spoiling the mood.
It also depends on your way of talking.
Approach,
Approach and the way you put your statements. Like when you want to converse to your husband, you don't start from the wrong. You start from the right. You start from the positive. You start by, appreciating him. You don't start by, there are things that you do that are very bad. Start with the good things.
Is that not pretense? Because you're pretending to be good.
You're not pretending because why
you're being wise because you want your issues sorted.
Okay.
And
know how to
thing,
approach them.
For you to avoid mistrust. So that means if I have my phone as the wife, you have your phone as the husband. Of course, we do text with my friends and everyone there out there. So is it allowed to swap?
Swap the phones?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes and no.
Why yes and
It's
no?
a bad thing that he might see and not really like it.
You know, you have your friends, just casual friends, some friends you joke with, you do. Unless he really understands, and sometimes it's not so easy to get two people with the same personality. You find that maybe
very different,
husband is very talkative. The wife is reserved, she's so introverted. So it means the husband has many friends. He maybe flirts for some reasons. So I'm saying yes and no. But what happens normally is that someone will pick things that are not maybe real. Your phone, you have some maybe texts that come from someone which are not, they don't mean much to you. But if your spouse looks at them, he will feel like, hey, no, there's something going on between these two people. While you know that this is a colleague, maybe you just chat and calls you, oh, hi, sweetheart, which is a very innocent.
Because of time, will not answer all that. But is it okay to check on your spouse's phone or not? Is it okay or not?
It's not okay.
It's not
unless he allows you to see, to have a look at it. It's also not okay for you to give out your, unless the person allows you to. It's a very private thing, but you should not hide it as in have password. It should be free there, so that if a call comes in, it's general knowledge that Peter is calling, John is calling.